Welcome back to my channel. My name is Violet. If you are new here, I make lifestyle content videos on pretty much whatever I really want. One kind of niche of video that I typically make are reviews. Most of them are unsponsored just because I do not do YouTube full-time. It's a hobby for me and I care about quality information that is being put out there, especially if it has to do with your dollar and money, because in this economy, we're watching out for each other, hopefully. As the title of this video says, it's a review about the Oura ring and natural cycles combined. There's already so many amazing reviews out there about just the Oura ring or just the natural cycles app. And for me in particular, I really wanted to know when I was about to purchase them or subscribe to them, someone's review of them together. So I'm gonna try to be as succinct and concise as possible with this video for what I think is practical without leaving out too many tips. If you have more questions, feel free to put them in the comments section. Again, this video is completely unsponsored and I used my money, I did my research, and now I am just conveying that information to you as much as I can. So I have been using the Oura ring and the Natural Cycles app for about 8 months now, and I think that's a pretty good amount of time to get a at least decent understanding of whether or not it's worth my money and if I should continue paying for it. I wanted to start off by saying the reason why I started this is because I have been on hormonal birth control almost my entire life. I could not be on the copper one just because it had really adverse side effects for me, so I never was able to choose a non-hormonal option, and that was something that had never been really an issue until the past year and a half, about like 6 months or so before, 6 months to a year before I started using the Oura ring and Natural Cycles. And that is because I switched out my IUD for a different one, and it would, I don't know what happened. I know the dose was a lot higher in terms of the hormones, but it completely messed up my body and it really impacted my mental health. And I knew after a year of like just suffering that I needed to change something, or just like at the time I had no idea it was my birth control. I had to figure out what it was that was causing these issues, because I was having like these mental health issues, I was having these physical issues, there were so many things intertwined and I couldn't figure out what it was until I started backtracking in my journals when I started feeling a certain way and like what changed. Because other than the birth control, there was like no major trigger in my life that objectively would have caused all these other problems. Like usually you can trace it back to some sort of trauma, you can trace it back to some sort of life-changing event, but like my life was pretty like stagnant, stable at the time without any problems, so it was very bizarre. Wanted to still, of course, be responsible with my life decisions, even though I am married and I have a partner. It was just, I needed to find a solution. So as I researched it, I found Natural Cycles. And I was just shocked about this new like concept, because this is not something they teach you in school as an option. Granted, it's relatively new with the new technology that they've implemented with it, but I had never heard of it. No one I knew talked about it. So I ultimately researched it on my own and I decided to try it. I was so desperate to, you know, be myself again. And I thought it was worth a shot. I talked to my partner about it. We talked about the consequences of it. Natural Cycles essentially needs your body basal temperature in order to track your period, your fertility, and all these other things with your mood and stuff like that. I could have just used Natural Cycles, but apparently you have to use like this thermometer thing and you have to like sit there right when you wake up, because it's like your lowest body temperature, for like 10 minutes, and then like take your temperature and not move and not do anything and not like eat, drink water, pee, or like anything like that right when you wake up, and then you had to record it. And I did not have the time for that. Like, I need to wake up, I need to get ready, I need to work. That was just such an inconvenience for me. And then I found out that you can use the Oura ring, which was like a partnership at the time, to track that temperature. And now I had to buy two things. Let me tell you, the Oura ring is not cheap at all. Neither is Natural Cycles. Good news, cost-wise, supposedly for Natural Cycles, you can get the subscription reimbursed by your HSA. Apparently the White House released a enactment, a law that said, you know, birth control and contraception should be accessible to other people. Announcement that they put on their website, which you can now use as an appeal case when you I know it sounds long-winded. You can now use that as like an appeal. When I first submitted my Natural Cycles subscription costs as a reimbursement, I got declined. I knew that was a risk going into cost-wise. I have yet to put the appeal in. I'm not sure if it works. I will put an update in description once I find out from my health insurance. Oura Ring, on the other hand, is not reimbursable. That is something that's just going to go out of your pocket. On the topic of finance, Oura Ring is quite expensive. The ring itself, depending on which one you get. I have the gold one because it matches the rest of my jewelry. I'm just a gold girly. It is more expensive to get the gold version than like the plain black or the silver. And I do have a code. I am not an affiliate at all. I got declined as an affiliate because I really wanted to be one because I love it so much. Spoiler alert. But it is $40 off if you're interested in getting it. I recommend like holiday sales, Black Friday, you know, those type of days, and then with the coupon to see if it works. What really upsets me about the Oura Ring is that you now have to pay a subscription. People who previously had the previous models and generations did not have to pay a subscription, which is very upsetting. But I get it, like they're trying to make money. They are a for-profit company. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that I absolutely hate that both the Oura Ring and Natural Cycles have to pay 2 different subscriptions. And I have told them multiple times, please, please, please integrate or combine one solidified system or subscription payment for dual users. There are alternatives to the Oura Ring in terms of both as itself as a function and also its combined function with Natural Cycles. Natural Cycles recently partnered also with the Apple Watch to get your temperature checked, I think based on the sensors in the Apple Watch. I don't have an Apple Watch. I do have an iPhone. I have a MacBook, but I personally didn't want to have their screen that I have to look at. I just wanted something simple, discreet, easily chargeable, and that was the Ring. But if you don't want to spend extra money and you already have an Apple Watch, that is a great alternative for, you know, all the functions, but also the combination with Natural Cycles. I will say I think there are more functions on the Oura Ring itself versus the Apple Watch in terms of like the health aspect. That is something that you should research and look up. I'm sure there's plenty of technical videos out there on that. A quick note, my partner does have the Fitbit. We both got our Oura Rings similar to the same reasons for like tracking your heart rate and stuff, and he has expressed that he might want an Oura Ring instead. So I don't know, take that with a grain of salt. Another pet peeve of mine is that when I do sync my Oura Ring temperature to Natural Cycles, it takes forever. In the first time it took forever, like 5 or 6 hours, and it does it naturally in the background sometimes, which is very weird and finicky to me because you have to, like, say you wake up, you open your Oura Ring app, it loads the data from when you slept, and then after that it only syncs to Natural Cycles if you open the Natural Cycles app, and it syncs to the Natural Cycles app faster if you open the app right after the Oura Ring to like trigger its syncing purposes. But if you don't, it takes a little bit later during the day for it to recognize. But I would love if it was just like completely integrated within the Oura Ring app. There is like the temperature cycle thing that you can track, but it's like a different, it's off a different temperature, so it'll say like 0.2 plus rather than in Natural Cycles where it says like 96.7 degrees. So I don't even look at what it says in the Oura Ring. I just follow the Natural Cycles app for like my period stuff. But within Oura Ring, if that's like the only thing you have, then I mean you can still see like the fluctuation, which is really nice because that's what I use to recognize if I'm sick in advance, so I can like be away from people. I do have the Peloton. The Peloton does sync with my regular Apple Health app, which syncs with the Oura Ring, to my understanding. I don't think the Peloton syncs with the Oura Ring. And you can't add it the next day. You have to add it the day of your exercise for it to recognize it in the app if you're like tracking your calories burned or like your heart rate when it like spikes. The Oura Ring, I absolutely love it. It tells me when I'm stressed out, because I'm the type of person who will overwork myself and not realize it until the physical symptoms and the emotional symptoms of it catch up to me, and then I am burnt out and dying. So I love to be able to see how stressed out I am during the day, when I need to relax, what I'm engaged in. There is a blood oxygen sensing. I do not use it. It drains the battery way too much for me. I only charge my Oura ring maybe once a week for like 20 minutes while I shower, and it's good to go. One other reason that I really enjoy it is because I have anxiety, and at the time when I was switching was because I was having such bad anxiety I could not control it. And I try my best to think very logically, so data is a huge part of that helped me, because I would have an anxiety attack and then I would look at my phone and be like, oh my god, is my heart really like popping out of my chest? Am I having an anxiety attack? Is it in my head? What's going on? How can I calm myself? Open my app, tells me my heart rate is fine, and then that concrete data allowed me to actually calm down. So I love that aspect of the Oura ring, that it's so like in the present time and you can check the app at the moment. I've been really able to make smart choices and decisions based on Oura ring data. Now I wanted to talk a little bit more about natural cycles. After I got off hormonal birth control, aka my IUD, I did not have my period before that for like 5 years. It just like completely got rid of my period. And once I got off my hormonal IUD, I had a really like sporadic period. And after like the first month or two, like the app spot on knew when it was gonna happen. Like it was on the dot on the day, and I was able to track like my luteal phase and then my follicular phase, which are things I feel like no one teaches you. The app obviously tells you what phase of your cycle that you're in and like what things are affecting your body with mood swings, cravings, and to be able to have that knowledge, like mind-blowing, because now I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. It's this part of my cycle. Being able to know that and plan in advance was just life-changing to me, because I would always think if I wasn't feeling good, it was like some major big other problem that I need to solve. But when I found out that it was normal during certain phases of my cycle, I would be able to have a better understanding of whether or not it is something external that is triggering it, or if it is actually just my physical body going through typical changes. One thing that I don't really understand about natural cycles is like the stars they give you, like the badges, because after like 3, it's like basic cycler or beginner cycler, skilled cycler, and like master cycler or something. After you reach like a certain level, if you like refer enough friends, I think you get like free membership, which I think is so bizarre. Like I obviously haven't reached that threshold yet, but I would be interested to see like how that, like, am I gonna get free like natural cycle subscription for life? That would be fantastic. I guess that's a really great way for them to get customer acquisition. If you want a discount or a referral link, I'll put it in the description. I'll update my video to see if I actually get like the free subscription for life. Oura Ring is coming out with so many new functions. Like when I first got it, there was no like resilience. So they're constantly adding to it, which is really nice, and I'm not having to pay more for it. I know they're coming out with a function for pregnant women, so you can like switch something in the app that allows you to track certain things, which of course I am not pregnant, but I think it is a great addition and like makes them more competitive as they are doing that. So in natural cycles right now, I'm trying to prevent birth, and I'm in the birth prevention mode of natural cycles. But within that app, once you do want to get pregnant or you are pregnant, you can switch the app to like reverse when you're ovulating and like when you're about to get pregnant, and then once you get pregnant, it like gives you a little bit more information. I mean, it's been 8 months and I haven't gotten pregnant, so I think it's working if you have discipline and if you understand where you're at in the phase and you are okay with the consequences, I guess. But yeah, it's been 8 months. Both apps have completely changed my life for the better, which is why I'm making this video, because I absolutely had no idea about it and I wanted more people to know about it as an option to get off like hormones if they want to. Don't get me wrong, if you're on hormonal birth control and it works for you, which it did for me like 5 years ago for 10 years, fantastic. I don't regret any of it. You know, this is just an alternative. The more options women have, the better, you know, their family planning and their ability to, you know, make positive decisions in their life, the better. So why not? Everyone's different. Everyone's body's different. If you can take hormones and you need the hormones maybe for a deficiency that you might have, or the hormones help you balance your own personal hormones, great, do that. But if you don't, then here's an option. But I will leave it at that. And if you have any more questions, I will do my best to answer them in the comments if you have any. And thanks for watching this video. I hope that it was informative, even though I kind of rambled. Yeah, thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.